Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt.
Hi, and welcome to the Stop Chasing Skinny podcast. Today we have Traci on, and Traci is a second-time guest here on the podcast. She was here before for reflexology, and we got such great feedback from that we decided to bring her on for something else that she specializes in, which is called massage cupping. So I'm going to turn it over to Traci real quick and let her tell you about her background and specifically about her background with massage cupping therapy.
Okay, well, Stephanie, thank you very much for having me back. It's always a pleasure to get together with you and to talk about one of my favorite topics, massage cupping therapy, because it has changed my massage therapy practice in a really profound way. So, as you know, I am a licensed massage therapist, and when I completed my training in massage therapy, I was really fortunate to work in an office with a lot of other massage therapists, many of whom had a great deal of advanced training. And everyone in that office had already been certified in massage cupping therapy when I started working with them. And when I experienced the therapy myself and I learned more about it and I saw how frequently they were in the back cleaning and sanitizing their massage cupping equipment, I just knew it was something I had to learn myself. And as I said, it has truly changed what I can do for people. There are so many different applications of massage cupping therapy for a massage therapy practice. And it's just a very different way of manipulating the tissue, which is really, really effective.
Yeah, so one of the things that you explained to me is that massage cupping therapy is you're pulling the tissue away from the body, and that's the opposite of what traditional massage therapy does, right?
Exactly. So in regular massage therapy, we are pushing and squeezing and compressing the tissue, where with massage cupping therapy, we're using negative pressure and vacuum to lift the tissue. And when you think about our bodies, you know, we have skin, and underneath our skin, we have fat. Under the fat, we have a substance called fascia, and we also have muscle. And these layers of tissue tend to get stuck together. They form adhesions. And with massage cupping therapy, we are lifting the tissue, which is making space between those different layers, which brings blood flow and helps push lymphatic fluid away, lifting the tissue, making space between the layers, which brings blood flow, which of course brings healing, but also helps our lymphatic fluid to remove metabolic waste and other toxins that get stuck between the layers of tissue.
Yeah. Because, listener, I don't know if you know this, but the only way your lymph nodes, like your lymph system does not necessarily have this efficient way of getting rid of the toxins, right?
Exactly. So our lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. Like our blood has our heart as a pump to pump it through our veins and our arteries. But our lymph system relies on our muscles. So muscle movement is what moves lymphatic fluid. So particularly people who are kind of sick, people who have autoimmune diseases, people who just don't feel good tend to be less active, and their lymph tends to be more stagnant.
That makes sense. That really makes sense. Wow. So I want to just talk real quickly about where cupping came from and what the difference is between cupping and massage therapy cupping.
Right, and that's kind of an important distinction because I think we've all seen the pictures of Jennifer Aniston and Gwyneth Paltrow with the big red circles on their back, and that's what people think of when they hear cupping. And Chinese cupping is an ancient technique they've been using for years and years, where it's the same equipment. They're using glass bulbs and a lot of times fire to create the suction. And they're trying to affect the blood flow and the qi, or a person's energy. They use the same points, meridian points, that an acupuncturist would use.
Okay.
But they will place the cup on someone's body and they'll leave it there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So that's very different. So massage cupping therapy is sort of a new spin on this ancient technique where we use the same equipment, but instead of just leaving a cup on someone's body somewhere, we actually lift the tissue and we start gliding. And so we're actually massaging the tissue, but again, in a very different way than what we could do with our hands because we're using negative pressure and vacuum. So we're now lifting it and massaging it that way.
That makes sense. So you're moving everything around in that way.
Exactly.
Awesome.
So it's really great. For example, when someone has an old injury, like they hurt their shoulder years ago and it's just never been the same, a lot of times we have scar tissue built up where those old injuries were. And using this, again, this lifting and gliding method really helps break up those adhesions. And it's really a great modality for some of these old injuries people have.
Yeah, because you're if you think about that, otherwise you're just pressing down into that same area. You're compressing it even more, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and just keep talking about all of these different ways that you personally use cupping therapy, cupping massage therapy. You talked about for somebody who has had like an old injury, that kind of thing. How else do you prefer to use it?
Probably the most common way I use it is for myofascial release. And so fascia is one of the tissues in our body, and most of us have heard the term myofascial release or fascia, but basically what it is a somewhat gel-like substance in our bodies. It surrounds every muscle, and it's a continuous web in our body from the top of our head to the tip of our toe. And it surrounds every muscle, and it also kind of fills in all the different spaces between where our organs and skeleton and things are. And it should be sort of a thick, gelatinous consistency. However, it tends to get kind of solid and firm. And if you think about this being a tissue surrounding your muscles, when it is more solid, it restricts your range of motion. Your muscles can't move quite as well as they normally could because it's restricting them. Myofascial release, manual myofascial release, is a beautiful therapy. I've studied it on a basic level, and it's really effective, but it requires a lot of patience, and it takes a lot of time. So, for example, just to release all the areas in someone's back, we split the back into 6 different areas, and each one takes 3 to 5 minutes just to affect the fascia.
Wow.
We haven't even started working on the muscles yet, and we've already spent 25 to 30 minutes.
On the fascia.
On the fascia. Now, I'll say by releasing the fascia, it makes it a lot easier to access the muscle, and it makes it much less painful for the client, because fascia is much more sensitive than muscles. So a lot of time when we have pain, it's really our fascia that hurts more so than the muscle.
Oh.
So when we release the fascia, we access the muscles much easier, and it's much less painful.
Yeah.
What we found is with massage cupping therapy, by, again, just using the suction and gliding through, I can release the fascia in the whole back in 6 to 10 minutes for the whole area.
Wow.
Rather than doing each section manually, taking all that time. So it's just a lot of times when I get someone on my table, and I always test their fascia before I do anything. And if it's really tight, I will ask if it's okay if we do some massage cupping just to warm it up, make it a little more gelatinous. It'll just make it easier for me to access the muscles and get some good results in my massage therapy.
That's great, because if you are listening and you've had this myofascial release done, then you probably didn't get around to the massage part of it, right? Because you were getting just released most of the time. So with you using the massage therapy cupping, you get to do both.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly. It just saves a lot of time, and it warms everything up really nicely.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I had the pleasure of trying this technique out with Traci last week, and it was great. I felt amazing afterwards. And so we're going to take a really quick break, and we'll be right back. Have you signed up for the 10-Day Jumpstart program yet? It's free. The SK Fit Life 10-Day Jumpstart program is 10 days of emailed lessons straight in your inbox. All of my best lessons straight to you for free. Go to www.skfitlife.com/free10day. That's FREE10DAY. See you there. And welcome back to the Stop Chasing Skinny podcast. So I want to just continue right along here and keep talking about the different ways that you use massage cupping therapy on a regular basis.
Okay, so the other most common way I use it is what we did with you last week, which is to assist in lymphatic drainage. And this is kind of a hot topic right now. People are really becoming a lot more aware of the importance of our lymphatic fluid moving through our bodies. and what happens when it gets kind of stuck. And so lymphatic drainage with massage cupping therapy is a very systematic approach, looking at from knees to elbow, lifting the tissue, encouraging the lymph toward the lymph nodes so the body can dispose of it. Because the other thing that happens when we have all these adhesions through all these different layers of tissue is metabolic waste and other substances get stuck between those layers. One of the main jobs of lymphatic fluid is to remove toxins and other, metabolic waste so the body can dispose of it. So this procedure is called a massage cupping cocoon.
Okay.
So we use a thick blanket, and then on top, and then we put all our sheets and everything on top of that. So the client is laying on top of all of these layers of sheets and blankets, and so section by section, where we use massage cupping to encourage lymph toward the lymph nodes, and then we also incorporate essential oils depending on what the main goal is. So for example, with you, we did lymphatic drainage, and I used an essential oil blend it's a diuretic blend we used with you to assist your body in wanting to just remove fluid.
Makes sense. I peed a lot.
Yeah.
A whole lot.
That usually happens. So after massage cupping therapy, any liniments, any creams, any oils, anything you put on the body is absorbed really deeply. So it's the ideal time to have an adjunctive therapy like essential oils to add those to the body, because you'll really get the effect of it since it absorbs so deeply.
Okay.
So we do section by section, and then as we start to finish, we start wrapping the client up in the sheets and the blankets. And basically we let them, I say, marinate for about 15 minutes, because we want to let all those essential oils really absorb into the body. While during that 15-minute period, I usually do the massage cupping therapy on someone's face. I turn the pressure way down on my machine so that I make sure I don't leave any marks on anyone's face. But as you know, it's just a really wonderful, it feels awesome on your face, and it really helps drain the sinuses and any other puffiness around the eyes, any fluid that might be stuck up in the face and in the head. It just helps all of that drain.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, I've heard some people talk about having their sinuses feel like they're so much clearer after having some kind of massage cupping therapy. And you wouldn't think, I don't know, I wouldn't really think about the face, but I mean, it's totally possible.
Yeah, I honestly, I have a lot of people where we just add on facial cupping to a regular massage session because they're feeling a lot of pressure in their sinuses, or they're just feeling really puffy around their eyes. And it's really just a quick 15-minute procedure. And I do it as an add-on to a regular massage, or I can even incorporate it into the massage if I skip something else. But it's a common thing that people, once they've experienced it, they really want it over and over, because it's pretty profound, the feeling, the difference.
That's awesome. So this also tells you that, when your massage therapist asks you, are you experiencing any kind of issues anywhere? Just go ahead, and they really mean they want to know.
Absolutely.
So, because that's really cool that you can do that. So what is one more way that you like to use? I mean, like we said, there are just so many uses for massage cupping therapy. What's another way that you like to use it?
So the other common request I get is for either scars or cellulite, to reduce the appearance of scars, certain scars and cellulite, specifically keloid scars and surgical scars. It can have a really good effect of, when you think about those scars, they look like adhesions. And I usually can take 2 cups and sort of spread that tissue apart and really reduce not only the appearance of the scar, but also the adhesions, where sometimes they get so stuck, it really restricts the person's range of motion. So, and then again, when you think about lifting tissue and moving the fluid, that's the subcutaneous fluid, and you think about what cellulite looks like, little tiny dimples, it can reduce the appearance of cellulite as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So, and Traci and I talked about this before while we were doing the massage therapy on me. And we were talking about some of these uses that you might see that are things like reducing the appearance of cellulite, or you can see this in body contouring. Some people do some body contouring. But one thing to always note with that stuff is that there have to be lifestyle changes. And then this kind of therapy is in addition to that. So, I just like to point that out because I think that sometimes when people hear of a method to reduce cellulite, they think that they can just do that one method but not do the other parts. So I'm just saving a little trouble.
Absolutely. And it's not something that I would even say is going to be a long-lasting effect. It would be more if somebody had an event where they wanted to have a quick, fix on their appearance. But as you know, lifestyle change is what it's all about for long-lasting results.
Yep. But it's also good to know that if you continue with the treatment, then your results will continue as well. I think that is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And it totally makes sense because if you think about how cellulite is structured, just pull that stuff apart.
Absolutely. Well, and the same thing with facial cupping. On a similar instance, one of the women who did a series, she did a series of 8 of the massage cupping therapy cocoons, and over 4 weeks, we did her face 8 times, and she was getting cystic acne around her jawline, and she noticed because we did it for 4 weeks, her acne improved, and along the same lines, you think about cystic acne and the fluid that's there, and with the suction and gliding, moving that fluid really helped clear up her acne. And then she started coming to me once a month. She would come to me during her cycle to do her face so that to keep her acne in control.
That is great. That's really great because if you think about some of the things that are out on the market for treating acne, a lot of them come with some very significant side effects. So just to have some cupping therapy done, you're avoiding all of those side effects. You're treating your issue. That's awesome.
It is. Wow. Yeah, in a non-systemic way.
Very cool. So I know we talked about a few different ways and things for cupping therapy. So and each one might be specific, but what would the frequency that you recommend be? Is it per your treatment option, or about how often would somebody want to do that? Is it 3 times a week? Is it, that kind of thing?
It's funny because my answer to this question is it depends.
Okay. Yep.
So it depends on the person's goal. So if we're trying to do some body contouring, if we're trying to change the appearance of a scar or cellulite, really twice a week is ideal.
Okay.
For a few weeks, because that continuous work and continuing. So basically the fluid doesn't have time to pool again.
Okay.
We just keep moving it.
Okay.
So for scars, it's key at least once a week. And it can be for a scar, it can be a quick 15 or 20 minute session.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be an hour and a half long. Again, the face is 15 to 20 minutes to do the entire face. Yeah. So,
that's great.
So it depends. But, for lymphatic drainage, again, it depends on the person and it depends on the result that they get. A lot of times people will see me either once a week or every other week while they're trying to really see a change in how their body is dealing with its lymph.
Okay.
So, for example, I have a client who her lymph has not been working very well, and this was really interesting. So you mentioned how you peed so much.
Yes.
Well, she, after her first session, she sent me an email and told me her urine was a little yellow. It was slightly yellow, she said, about the color of Chardonnay. And I told her, well, that was fairly normal to have discolored urine after a technique like this because your body's eliminating toxins and metabolic waste, and usually you see that in the urine.
Yeah.
And we've all had that kind of an effect.
Right.
And then when I saw her 2 weeks later, I said, has your urine gone back to normal? And she said, no, but I just found out that this color is normal. She said, my entire life, my urine has been clear.
So is she just maybe holding on to most of those toxins?
Yeah, her body
life?
is just not draining that stuff, but now it is.
Okay.
And so now she's got the normal healthy urine.
Yeah.
Where before her body just wasn't eliminating everything, I guess.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Wow. Yeah. And these are things that you don't, I don't know, like some people may think about it, but I know that I don't usually think of these things when I think of massage therapy. I think of, I want some relaxation, my muscles are sore. That's what I think of typically. So this is great that we're covering all of these additional benefits to doing some kind of treatment like this. So we're going to take a really quick break and we'll be right back. You've heard me talk a lot about learning how to reach your fitness goals, and more frequently, how to look as fit as you feel, while learning to stop chasing skinny. And you've also thought to yourselves, yeah, I do want to reach my fitness goals in a shorter, more concise way, to stop wasting my time bouncing back and forth from fitness tip to fitness tip in magazines, wasting hours researching the latest and greatest diet, only to end up looking and feeling the same way you've been looking and feeling for years. And my guess is that you've been thinking about this for a long time. Am I right? I know the feeling because I played these games too, for a very long time, in fact. I'm here to tell you this. Stop thinking and sign up for the SK Fit Life Challenge, an online training, nutrition, and coaching program that will lead you through 12 weeks of step-by-step guidance to help you finally reach your goals of looking fabulous and feeling fabulous. You're going to get to free up all the headspace you've been wasting picking through random diet information being fed to you through the media and simplifying the seemingly complicated world of health. Your chances now. Do you really need more time, more information, more plans for the future? Or do you want to become that fit person today? Because the truth is this. You can be that fit person, or you can be the person that sits around thinking about becoming fitter. It's your choice. Read more magazines, blog posts, and bits and pieces on social media, or take action. Because let's face it, if you're not where you want to be, your current program is not working out for you. I want you to be successful. And why is this? Because you've already got what it takes. You've been doing the work all along. It's just been the wrong work. You have the desire, the discipline, and the potential. Now let's get you on the right track so those efforts you are already putting in can take you in the best direction possible. Join me and the hundreds of other SK Fit Life clients for the 12-week online fitness challenge at skfitlife.com. All right, now let's get back to the show. And welcome back to the Stop Chasing Skinny podcast. So we want to go ahead and move on to talking about what the difference is between some of the cupping equipment that you might be able to buy on Amazon and versus going to see a professional to do cupping therapy treatment. So what is your take on this?
Yeah. Okay. So going to a professional who should be a certified massage cupping practitioner. And you can easily find, there's a website, ACE Massage Cupping Therapy, and they have a page on their website of every certified massage cupping practitioner they've trained.
That's awesome.
So if you're in the Charleston area, obviously you should come see me.
Absolutely.
But if you're somewhere else, you can easily find someone on their website. Cool. So anyone who has been certified as a massage cupping therapy practitioner is going to have professional equipment, and because we just can't do our job with something that's not professional, it's just too frustrating. However, there are some self-care kits available, as you said, on Amazon or on eBay, and some are better than others. Right. Self-care parts of our bodies are pretty easy to use massage cupping therapy for self-care, and other parts are just too awkward. Yeah. It's really hard to do your own back.
Yeah.
You know. However, I will say for you and other people who run, and we have tight IT bands, there are some silicone cups that you can buy, I think on Amazon, and they're about the size of the palm of your hand. And you can use them in the shower for your IT bands. You just squeeze them and they stick to your skin. So you get the suction that way. You kind of lift it and glide up and down your IT band. It helps if you get yourself wet, put some soap on first, and then just go to town on your IT bands. It feels amazing and it really helps loosen them up.
That sounds wonderful because IT band stuff is such a pain, literally.
It really is. It really is.
And then, the only other real IT band self-care that I've seen is rolling them out with a foam roller. But that hurts like hell.
It really hurts.
And you're compressing it even more. So I am going to be buying some of these silicone cups to do that. That sounds way more appealing.
Yeah, and just, again, just be careful what you're buying, because I think I showed you, I had bought this manual kit, and I think it was $7 on eBay, and the cups all broke. They were plastic cups, and they all broke the first time I used them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And even I have the massage cupping machine, and, I have the professional equipment, but trying to do it to myself it's just too awkward, and I break cups because mine are glass, and I break them all the time when I try to work on myself because I drop them.
Yep, that's what they do, because as soon as they lose suction, they just pop right off and fall down.
Exactly.
One more question. You talked to me about the different blend of essential oils, and we talked about how, for me, you use the diuretic blend. What other possible blends can you put together?
That's a great question. So when we do the body contouring cocoons, we have if it's a series of 8, if someone really wants to change the contouring of their body, it's 8 separate blends. 2 of them are cellulite reducing. So obviously that's what I use if we're trying to affect their cellulite. 2 of them are specific for fat, trying to help move fat. The 2 of them are diuretic, and 2 of them are toning. Okay. There are other blends available for people who are quitting smoking or people who are detoxing off of drugs or alcohol. Wow. So there are blends like that. And then there are custom blends, again, just depending on what the person's specific goal is. Yeah. So someone who's detoxing and trying to get if they've had a bad lifestyle and they're getting better and they just want to get that yucky feeling and stuff out of their body, there are some really excellent blends for that as well.
That totally makes sense. This is fantastic, because what you're talking about is lifting that fascia, giving an opportunity for your body to release those toxins. And, if maybe you didn't have a good lifestyle, so you're trying to get rid of some of those kinds of toxins, even just medications in general, right? Somebody who comes off of some maybe steroids or oral contraceptives or some other, pretty rough medicines on our bodies. That's great.
Yes. Yeah. And I have a specific blend I use for constipation. If someone has, had problems eliminating, abdominal cupping is excellent, which we did it. Yes. I do that. That's part of the massage cupping cocoon, but it's another thing like the facial cupping that I just add on for some people who really have trouble eliminating.
Yeah. Let your massage therapist know if this is your issue. Just saying.
Absolutely. We talk about these kinds of things very freely. We're really used to talking about them, but it really helps. And there is a specific blend for constipation to help get things moving that I'll put on people's abdomen after massage cupping therapy.
Oh, that's great, because I swear that's like the second question. People ask me, how do I lose weight? Then they ask me, how do I stay regular? And I'm like, man, this is a very common problem, huh?
Absolutely.
So, wow, that's awesome. Cool. So thank you so much for doing a second interview. This was fantastic. For anybody who lives in the Charleston area, make an appointment with Traci. She is phenomenal. I'll put all of her contact information in the show notes. If you're just visiting the area and you're even staying at like Wild Dunes Resort or any of the resorts around here, make the trip over to Eco Health and Wellness, because it's just not the same at a resort as it is to go to somebody who has been trained in all of these things. So thank you so much,
Thanks
Traci.
again for having me. It's always a pleasure.